Welcome to Ask Gwen, everyone. Today with me I have Kaleo, and Kaleo is going to speak on what she does. You guys figure out Win and Kaleo, the unique name club here. You guys figure that one out. And then I will let Miss Kaleo take it away and explain more about what she does. So welcome, Kaleo.
Thank you, Wynn. I'm so happy to be here. I feel so honored to be on this show with you. As I was just telling you before we started, I'm just so impressed with everything that you do and all that you're sharing. And yeah, it's so important, and it's impressive. Anyway, I am Kaleo Wheeler, and I am a heart-based life coach. I'm also a Hawaiian spiritual teacher and aloha practitioner and a hula instructor. Obviously, I'm very involved with the Hawaiian culture. And the reason being is my passion is about helping women. My program that I have is called Free and Reclaim Your True Voice. And it really is about helping women to find a way simply and easily to finally put to rest, to quiet all that negative inner self-talk that has been we've accepted and put onto us by old conditioning and old limiting beliefs from things that people have told us in the past. And, we've been conditioned to believe that we have to listen to other people's opinions and voices of how we live our lives. And that's not true. And so I'm passionate about wanting to help women through a program I call the Heart of Aloha. And because of my own personal journey of having lost the ability to speak my truth with my voice when I was very young through trauma and some emotional and sexual abuse when I was very young in school, and followed me through into my adult life, into my relationships, and creating all that negative inner self-talk that just forced me to self-sabotage myself in my life with relationships, with the work that I was doing. But it also started me on a journey. There was a very strong spirit within me that it motivated me to start looking for answers. And I studied a lot of several indigenous traditions, several body-mind integration techniques, different forms of healing over the years. But it was when I came home, what I see coming home in the late 90s, started in the late 80s, but then in the 90s, when I came home and was introduced to the Hawaiian tradition, started with hula, their sacred dance and ancient storytelling that helped me to finally heal my body of the trauma from when I was young, and then took me into the spirituality of what they call living aloha, which is about really embracing who we are at the core of who we are, spiritual beings in perfection when we come into this world, and that we're just here really to learn through these lessons that we have, through these opportunities that we can see as negative, or we can see as, again, opportunities to help us to learn more about who we are, to become even greater in our spirituality as we go through this life. It's that old saying, we're spiritual beings here to have a human experience, to grow and evolve. So that's become my journey in life and passion, as I have found these ways to help me, is to want to help other women who I know are dealing with the same things.
Exactly. And for those of you who have never, ever, ever, ever experienced the Hawaiian culture, you probably think that Kaloa is nuts in saying that the Hawaiians are very respectful of others that come onto their island. They're also very respectful of their own culture. And I learned this by spending literally a week in Kona, Hawaii. I have not been lucky enough to go to the Big Island yet. I spent a week in Kona, Hawaii, working. Yes, working. I did a little cerebral palsy awareness work out there, and because I was doing the Kona Ironman, and I realized, well, in that week, I realized that this is where my passion started for raising awareness about cerebral palsy, because I realized the indigenous people of Hawaii are so respectful of other people that come on to the island during this week. I mean, the Kona Man is one of the biggest triathlons in the country, in the world, actually, in the world, pardon me, in the world. And so we have, and I say we because I've been there, we have about 60,000 people that ascend on Kona, Hawaii to do the Kona Ironman. And it takes a village. We not only have the triathletes themselves, I was one of the triathletes, but we also have the teams that support the triathletes, whether it be the coaches, the family members, the support systems, whether it be every which way. So for Kona, Hawaii to accept all this chaos, and I call it chaos because it is amazing to me, and still have a sense of sanity. I mean, if you guys have ever, and they do every single year. And I have watched it, and of course, my year was in 2010. And go back and look. You'll see the beautiful water that I swam in. And yes, you guys, if you see a yellow boat in that beautiful water, that's me being pulled. And so the fact that the Hawaiians accept all these strangers on their island and still keep it in peace, I think that's unbelievable.
Well, and they've had a hard time because they were invaded, first by the Tahitians and the Samoans, who were very uh, warriors and wanting to take control and creating a hierarchy and system that they did not have any need for before then. And then when the Westerners arrived, thinking they were going to help them by bringing their culture that was going to make the Hawaiians better, and not really learning and exploring. And part of it was because of the language barrier, but still. So they've had a lot, like a lot of indigenous traditions, a lot taken away from them. But yes, that aloha spirit is underlying everything they do. And so it is still alive and well there. And, the thing that I'm working with a Hawaiian spiritual teacher now, her name is Mahealani Henry. And I feel very honored to work with her because she is what is called a Kanaka Maole, which is someone whose lineage goes back to the original peoples of Hawaii. So she teaches the very ancient teachings, and this was not shared with outsiders until recently. I mean, and it's still hard to find those that will share it with non-Hawaiians. So I feel very honored to be able to work with her. But like she talks about the original language of Hawaii, they believed the ancestors came from the gods, and it was a living language that has a vibration to it that is to help them to live in this aloha spirit, which is just basically coming from love in every single moment and second of what you do. And what's interesting about the language is there's only 5 vowels and 7 consonants, which means they can't have as many words as other languages, so they have maybe 50% of the number of words. And when you look at the Hawaiian language, you realize the words they have, they are all positive. There are no negative words in the language. If you look at other languages, a lot of their words, a lot of that other 50% of words have negative connotations, have
Right.
I can't, it's criticism, it's put downs. And so the Hawaiian language was created to help them to maintain being in this place of love, being in this place of honoring our perfection, honoring who we are, and being able to honor each other. So yeah, it's a shame and this is part of the reason why I'm sharing this, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on the call and everything that you shared. And I didn't realize the whole thing that you went through with the Iron Man there. Wow, I'm even more impressed with you. But it is really to help people to have more of an awareness of this culture and this way of living, especially now with all the insanity going on and all of the
Yes.
negativity that's around us and the fear, to be aware that there is this culture that is just so much about love, and that people, and it's part of our country, and most people aren't even aware of what it is. I laughed when you were saying, maybe some people might think I was crazy or whatever. I'm used to saying hula, and people ask me if it's hula hooping. And
Yeah, well, I know better than that because yes, I want to go back to the Big Island or Kona for a vacation. For a vacation, not doing Kona Ironman week. No way. No way, no
right,
how
no,
do I
yeah.
get to Kona Ironman week doing to take my vacation. I will take my vacation probably in June, probably, and I'm hoping to either go. There's 3 places I still want to go, and one of them is for my graduation. But I'm hoping to take a trip to the beach after my graduation,
Hmm.
either in Florida or somewhere in Hawaii that I won't be disturbed because Hawaii is near and dear to my heart. And for those of you that don't know my story, I semi grew up in the Bahamas and talk about overcrowded. The Bahamas is now getting overcrowded. Not to say that Hawaii is not, but those indigenous cultures of Hawaii and of the Bahamas are completely different. I don't think that the Bahamas split, well, correct me if I'm wrong, and you guys can at me for this, but I don't think the Bahamian culture spreads as much love as the Hawaiian culture does.
um, Yeah, the Hawaiian culture is just it really is an ancient culture. I mean, it's they say that like even the language is one of the original languages. So even though I agree with you, when you go down to any of the island life, any of the indigenous peoples, because I think they're more connected to the land, yeah, they see life differently. They're not as caught up in all this mind stuff, and
Yeah,
they just, hey,
and
with the Hawaiians, I'm sure you saw this when the sign with your hand, you got your thumb and your pinky out, and they kind of flip it. You see it all over the Hawaiian Islands. It's called the shaka sign, but it means hang loose. And
yeah,
so
I
the
literally saw
Hawaiians,
that during the week of the Conan Man. Yes, I
and
literally
everybody does it,
saw
but the
that.
thing is it's saying to people, it's another way of saying aloha, saying I greet you, because aloha means much more than what people think. It's not really hello and goodbye. It means love. So when someone says aloha to you, they are saying I greet you with love. I leave you with love, and I wish you the very best, seeing the perfection in you. I wish you the very best in all you do. And so sometimes if someone is passing someone they know, maybe they don't have time to stop and talk to them, they give them a little flip with that sign, and it's saying to them, hi, bro, I see
Yeah,
you. I honor you. Can't talk, but I see you and I honor you.
yeah.
So it's as simple as that, you know.
And
And
yep, and I
go
was
ahead.
gonna say, if you talk to a Bahamian, true Bahamian, if you talk to a true Hawaiian, you will find out some things about the Bahamas and about the Hawaiian islands that will fascinate you. And
Right.
at the time, I was so, I guess, so on a mission to um to not take the beauty of the Hawaii Hawaii in, that I need to go back and take
Right.
the beauty of Hawaii back in, because I'm like, I was so on mission to do this interesting Kona Ironman, and I was so on a mission. I didn't really take the culture of Hawaii in, and the culture of what I was being given in.
Mhm. But that's typical when, I mean, we go over there with our preconceived ideas with who we are. You went over there on a mission to do the Ironman, to do the triathlon. And because it's now you've got a little bit of a different you've got a little bit more of an awareness because of your connection to the Bahamas. Most people they'll go over there and they have no idea of what island mindset is about, which is much more laid back. It's much more just being connected to the land, going with the flow. So you had but you were still on a mission, but you also, because you had that awareness, a little bit more of an awareness, you still felt it, and now you're wanting to go back. And a lot of people that don't even have that awareness also feel like, well, what is it about Hawaii? I want to go back. There's something that they're special.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, you go back and then you just start being with it. The thing is, the energy of aloha, it's in the land itself. It's part of the land. It comes up from the ground, up into your feet and into your body. It's a vibration and you feel it. And it's a vibration of love. It's just a vibration of
no,
love.
no. I sat, I literally sat on, and I'll never forget it. I literally sat on a beach for 2 minutes. It was my aide and I, and we took a break by ourselves. My other teammate was doing something. She was out training, and I said, "You know what? I will not join you for this training." And that came to backfire on me. Um, but I sat on that beach for 2 minutes. 2 minutes I was only allowed because my teammate was a little bit being on a mission herself and being a little bit of not soaking in culture. She was on a mission herself, but that's
Mhm.
okay. And
Mhm.
I um I remember sitting on the beach at the Four Seasons, staring at the water, and I'm thinking, well, if I can come back and do this, I'll be happy as hell. So I that's one of the reasons I want to go back
Mhm.
to Kona, or the big island of Maui, because I am a water baby. People know that. I am a water baby. I'm not a mountains baby, although give me a river, I'll deal with it. But I am an ocean baby. I am a true ocean baby. And because I am the sign of Cancer, and that's my astrological sign. And so I'm a water sign to begin with. I was born a water sign, and I'm a true ocean baby. But when they say aloha and serve you a pina colada, and you really feel like their spirit is authentic. And when you talk to the indigenous people of these islands, as I said, you really feel like you're learning something. So that's why I want to go back to Hawaii and just hide out there for a week to
Mhm.
reconnect my soul just a little bit to the indigenous people of Hawaii because, um, even though I have access to the Bahamas too, it's totally different than Hawaii is totally different than the Caribbean.
Right. But you see, when and the thing is so a lot of people can't get to Hawaii. But the beauty of it now is with some of these teachers now sharing some of this ancient knowledge with those of us that are drawn, who, I mean, I feel like I've had lifetimes there before, but are drawn here, living, as in a haole, what they call haole, non Hawaiian body, but have been drawn there and of learning, and these teachers are sharing. I bring Hawaii to people here. I have what I call a halau. It's a non-traditional, because I'm not Hawaiian and I don't live in Hawaii, but it's a non-traditional school of hula. It's called the Halau Hula Pu'uwaio Aloha. That's my school. And so I share hula with women here. I have the halau is in my home, although right now most of it's on Zoom because of because of
Yeah,
COVID.
yeah, no.
But then I've also now taken a lot of these ancient teachings, and they're simple. And the thing is about it, they're so simple and practical. They're impactful, but they're simple and practical. They're not easy because, like anything, you have to make a decision and a commitment to do them. But if you do, then they're simple and practical to help to start in embracing this whole aloha spirit, to help you to change these old negative patterns within us, to start feeling that aloha spirit within us. How do I want to say this right? But to use the tools. The thing is these tools, the knowledge of Hawaii is universal. It really is universal, the universal spirit based on the universal laws. And it's just a way. So it's nothing. The way they live is not anything that we don't always know. Love thy neighbor as yourself, But they have put it, because they were this isolated group of islands. They're said to be the most isolated chain of islands on the planet. They had to find a way to get along. So they created the system of living they called aloha, using simple tools to help them to remember to stay in that place of love, kindness, cooperation, caring, gratitude in every moment. And that's how they have survived. That's why when you still go there, you can still feel that energy when you're there. It's because of the system that they created for living that is still underneath everything, even with the challenges they've had. And so this is what I just feel so blessed and honored that has been shared with me. It's helped me on my journey to heal from a lot of the trauma that I experienced early in my life. And I now am passing that on to women. And just helping people. Yeah, if you can go to Hawaii, go. But still, there's so much even on YouTube now, and videos and things you can go on and you can see people, different teachers sharing things, interviews and stuff on YouTube. Or then there's teachers like myself that are in places around the country that are bringing this knowledge. And my focus, a lot of it being not only, hula, it's all hula and the other tools, all in helping to empower women to finally be able to claim who they are and be who they are. So that's it in a nutshell.
That's it in a nutshell. And as we wrap this interview up, where can people find you and where can people get a hold of you if they choose to do so? And then do you have any questions for me?
Well, you've shared so much already about yourself, and I just think what you're doing to bring awareness, just first to show how you have dealt with this disability, and look how you are living your life. You are standing in your truth, Win, and you're saying nothing stops me. I am still, all that you do. What a role model you are to other people that are also struggling with some of the same challenges. And so what question do I have to you? I don't even have a question at the moment, other than just so much respect for who you are and what you're doing. And yeah, I'll go on and listen to more of your podcasts.
No. Yeah.
As
Well,
far
yeah,
as
that's what I try. I try to inspire people to mask up. Yes, mask up.
Right.
Say that in general love. I try to inspire people to mask up, and then I try to just make people think about their what they do on a daily basis, and then I try and make people think I will always be, even though I'm not educating people in the classroom, I will always be the educator of CP. I will always be the educator of CP until I can't do it anymore.
Mhm.
And it's
Mhm.
so funny because um, back in October, as I told you guys, I'm a beach baby. I am a water baby.
Mhm.
I am a water baby. I love the sound of the water. I love staring at the water. I love give me water and you make me a happy camper.
Right.
So in October, I um, got to travel the first time in a very long time, in about 10 years. I got to travel to Orlando, Florida. And I had this awakening on the beach in Orlando, Florida, of you need to be an advocate for those who've been emotionally and physically abused. And so I'm traveling, I go on my merry way. I was with a group of people who graciously, one person brought me down there, and then the other people graciously let me stay at their home. So we were doing this
Mhm.
as a private home. And so one we on our way back here, the person I was traveling with was on our way back here, and a Uber driver, and the person didn't even know I had this awakening at the beach. And a Uber driver asked at 6 a.m., mind you, what do you do for work? And I'm thinking, well, do I tell them, do I tell this Uber driver um, that I'm trying to find myself again? Or do I tell my Uber driver that I'm a retired educator and leave it at that? The person who I'm traveling with goes, well, I am a personal assistant, and my friend is a motivational speaker and raising awareness on cerebral palsy. And I'm like, okay, that is, I'm like, okay,
Sorry.
at 6
Yeah, it's
a.m.
so obvious. Yes.
It's so, it's so obvious. I'm like, when you get stuck, when you get stuck in those positions with Uber drivers, and yes, I've been um, dealing with uh, lot of them before the pandemic. I was able to travel back to Orlando before the pandemic, and we used a lot of Uber. And some Uber drivers chatted us up, others did not. I think we were all trying to deal with the beginning of the pandemic. But on a good day, when you are able to travel and use Uber, ask them to strike up a conversation with them, please, because they're bored, even with mask on. If you jump in a Uber driver, if you jump in a Uber with a mask on, try and strike up a conversation
Mhm.
because they're trying give the Uber driver a little bit of love because speaking of the Hawaiian culture, give the Uber driver a little bit of love because they're trying to make as much of an income and an impact as you guys are.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So
Well, it's
yeah,
being aware, Win, isn't it, of everybody that we come in contact with, And if we just show a little kindness and consideration and compassion, it would be a very different world. with an Uber driver or
Oh,
somebody you
yes.
see in
It's
the
true.
waiting on, at the checkout at the grocery store, any of that. It's just this is where this whole concept with about living aloha is that you are just kind, considerate, compassionate with everyone who crosses your path, with the land, with nature, with
And
everything.
even now, we can't smile, and I won't be able to smile, believe it or not, until 2021 because I just read this morning in our local paper that they have extended mask ordinance until 2021. So I won't be able to smile to you people until 2021. I have to be wearing a mask until every time I go out, which is rare nowadays, um, until 2021. And but you can come up with other compassionate ways to be compassionate to people. You
Right.
just don't have to be so Capricorn in you bullheaded. And I'll put it bluntly and I'll put it mildly. I have Capricorn in me, so the Capricorn takes over the Cancer. The Cancer tells the truth. The Capricorn is kind of bullheaded. I'm trying to distinguish put the flame out on the Capricorn and be less bullheaded. But
Mm.
yeah, but you
But
guys can come up with a different um, way of thinking. If you can't smile because you're underneath mask, or if you can't wave because
right,
you're trying to wrangle a kid per se, and you're
right.
trying to get them back to their home school lands, but you can come up with different ways of being compassionate.
And the best way to do that is just with a kind word. Just a kind word. It doesn't have to
And
be anything
people can
major.
still hear
Just
you.
a kind word,
People can
or
still hear you
maybe
underneath
we need.
mask.
I'm sorry. What, Win?
I said people can still hear you underneath mask.
Oh yeah, and maybe we need to learn more how to smile with our eyes.
Oh yes. Oh yes. That's going to be that's going to be my challenge. Coley just gave
Yeah.
me a challenge and smiling with and you did, Coley. I'm going to take that challenge on because
Okay.
smiling with
Well,
your
me
eyes
too.
because I have not gotten the chance to do that. People automatically assume probably I'm angry because of this mask. I am I'm coming to I'm coming to find out that as long as I wake up every day, not on a ventilator, not due to COVID, and I came very, very close to COVID, getting COVID, thank you very much. But the one simple phone call and the grace of God um, kind of steered me in as a direction. And I almost got COVID on my birthday, but one simple phone call steered me from not getting COVID, thank goodness,
Good.
because uh yeah, it would have been a little bit of interesting show me getting COVID. But
Right.
other than that, I am going to try and smile with my eyes because or at least say hi underneath my mask because I've been knowing to say hi to people even without a mask. And
Mhm.
so it's it's a new interesting time, but the more and more we love in this universe, better off we'll be. And that's how I'll close off the episode. Now, Coley, where can people find you if they want to get a hold of
You can
you?
find me on my website, which is theheartofaloha.com, and I'm also on Facebook. I have a group page there. It's just the Heart of Aloha. You can also find me on my personal page. It's Kaleo Wheeler. It's KaleoWheeler. You can find my page on Facebook, either that personal page where I post a lot of things, or I have this, it's a free membership, free Facebook private group. And if anyone would like, you can become a member, or you can join that, where we post everything that we're doing, all the events and classes and such. Women who are like-minded, coming from the same place, can interact and dialogue and support each other. And then I'm also always sharing little tidbits about aloha and such on there. So either online at my website or on my page, and you can find them both under the Heart of Aloha.
The
Try to keep
heart
it
of
simple.
aloha, you guys. And maybe during the pandemic, maybe this took you away from the stress of the pandemic just for a moment,
Mm-hmm.
guys.
Well, the thing. Let me end with this one, because one of the things that I find is so important is, and this is what my kumu, my teacher, she talks a lot about now, is it really is a matter of us creating our world, the world we choose to have within the world around us. So we don't have to. It's all going on out there, but if we focus on that, that old saying, you focus without. If you don't focus within, you focus without, and you without. But if we just focus on what is it you want in your world, you create your world within yourself of this loving, compassionate place, first starting with yourself, towards yourself, and then your family. You create that world within this crazy outer world. And that's all we need to be doing, because then as we each do that within ourselves, it's like that ripple. You throw the stone into the river, into the water, and as it goes out, it creates a bigger and bigger ripple. If we were all doing this, creating our own world of love and compassion and peace within ourselves and within our small community, those ripples, those stones would all create all these ripples that would go out and meet in the middle, and we would then find the change and the world that we want.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's how we'll end it. And if
Yes.
you guys need to look for me, I'm on social media, and you guys can just Google my name, Win, Win, Charles, Charles, or you can go to askwin.weebeliefs.com, or you can just type in my name on YouTube, Win, Win, Charles, Charles, and all my interviews slash my Winning with Win weekly Monday morning TV show on IMTV will pop up. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts as well. And I will catch you guys later. Bye, you guys.
Thank you so much, Wynn. Thank you very much, and everybody for listening.